Okay. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the first exhibition here at Purple Noon Gallery for 2021. This Archiving Nature is the first in our monthly series of exhibitions here at Purple Noon. Now, sitting beside me, I'd like to give a really big warm welcome to Julianne Ross Allcorn.
Thank you.
And Julianne, congratulations. This is stunning. It's exquisite, amazing, all of those adjectives. And we've already had people here today. We've already made sales. People love the work. So welcome. This is it. We're ready to open. So here we go. So I'm going to ask just a couple of little questions.
Okay.
I know that you have a teaching background.
Yes.
I know that you are very dedicated to your art, that you teach. You teach from your beautiful home studio, and you have 2 home studios. When did it all start? Were you a little girl that started painting and drawing, or because this
When
is
did
a
it all
lifetime
start?
story.
Well, I was born in New Guinea, in Robyn, New Guinea, and so always drew from childhood, and very encouraged by my parents to do art, to create, and I think I've always been inspired by nature, growing up there and then moving down here. So, yeah, I knew I wanted to be an artist and a teacher. I just didn't know where that was going to take me.
And so do you think the fact that you have a bush residence and a home, which is in a little bit of Sydney bush as well, in a beautiful part of Sydney, do you think that really is part of the inspiration?
I think I'm lucky. I'm lucky to be able to be surrounded by bush wherever I go, and I'm lucky that I have a family that lets me escape into my own world to draw. I just live in another world when I draw. So, and then walking through the bush and looking at things and stopping, it's really, really important to me to try and capture a moment when I draw.
And I think it's the detail and the exquisite, intricate bits of the work. I know I've looked at it. One of the things that I think people probably can't see from photos and from videos is the drawing side of this. Again, in the contemporary world, is a little unusual. We don't see many drawings in that contemporary space. But these are drawings on board, and you etch the pencil. You'd have to, we'll get closer later when we do the little tour, but you actually etch that pencil into the board, and then you use watercolours, inks, is that right?
Watercolour, inks and pencil over it. So I scratch into the board with a number of pencils, and then I use various other pencils to go over it because I want to create the texture of nature into the artwork, and then add the hues and the different colours. And I didn't want the background of the wood to be lost. I think that's part of nature.
And it's lovely. And I guess the other thing too, it's the wooden panels. Again, I think I've had a few paintings come through here on wood panels, but these are different again. You've done them in series of panels, like this beautiful painting behind us here, which I think is just outstanding. How many panels are there? Maybe
12.
12?
There's 12 of those panels, yes. So I do work in panels, and when I do start, a lot of people ask me, how do I start, or what do I start with, or do I plan my artwork? There's no planning, absolutely no planning. I have either a bird or a piece of flora or a colour in my mind.
Wow.
Once I put that down on the board, then I know whether it's going to be a very big piece or whether it has to be a smaller one. But from that image, once it's out of my head, I can then create the story, and it must talk.
That's fabulous. So it's really, there's quite a spark, isn't there, in every piece that you do. And having done a fair degree of research with Indigenous communities, that's exactly how they paint as well. There's no planning in painting. It all it's intuitive. It just comes out as they're working. And I feel one of my questions to you would be the driving force. I do deal with artists, lots of artists, and I get to know them quite well. but you appear driven. You are driven to work. This huge work ethic that you have, and you know, it surpasses most other artists that I know. What drives you? Why? Like, you're working on commissions, you're working on exhibitions. It's
what drives me is I'm a trained dancer, so there is a discipline.
Right. Yes.
There is a discipline. With ballet, you had to have a discipline. So I think that just crosses over into art. And the other thing is, if I don't get the image from my head down, then I don't function very well. So I must have the image down, and I must have the housework done before I go to the studio. And so I will get up at 5:30 and I will work till 9 in between my teaching. So I schedule my days and my weeks accordingly, and if I have a deadline like this one, which Robyn very kindly put up.
I pushed.
I was put up with my I don't understand whatever I'm doing.
I have deadlines too, Julie.
But if I've got the deadline, I'll just go with it. And you can't change that deadline, and you can't change. You have to go through it, and you have to deliver.
And that just reminded me, I had forgotten that you had a dancing career. And I look at these paintings now, and I look at the birds, and they all appear to be singing. It's a melody, a tune, a dance, all goes together, doesn't it?
It does go together. It must move like, it must be choreographed.
Yes. Yeah.
And if it doesn't balance or sing, then I put it aside and I come back to it until it works again. Otherwise, you don't see it.
Well, we won't go on forever because we'll go through and look at each individual piece. But there was one last question I have for you. I'm sure most people are aware of the fact that you were a finalist in the WIN Prize, the recent WIN Prize at the Art Gallery of New South Wales, and you took out the Trustees Watercolour Award.
Yes.
So a huge congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, that was really a
shock.
massive and very, very big feather in your cap. Is that going to change the way you work now? Has that brought all these different...
It's certainly made my profile larger, and it certainly increased commissions, and my Instagram seems to have gone a little bit haywire. But no, it doesn't change me in how I work or what I want to produce. If there's a commission comes through and they ask for a particular flora and fauna, I will do it, but I have to explain that it must go with how I create the work.
It's that intuitive.
Yeah, and if they don't want it, then it can go somewhere else.
Well, again, congratulations. It's a wonderful award to win. So we might move on and do our separate little tour now. Julianne's exhibition will be here at the gallery until the end of March. We open Thursday to Sunday, and I have to say, I mean, it looks wonderful in the photos, and I absolutely love it. But if you can get here and have a look, all of the work is for sale. You can ring me. I punch out that phone number on Instagram and all over the place. This will, obviously you're on the website now watching this. The whole of the exhibition will be able to be purchased on the website. Julianne also has some beautiful lampshades, which we forgot to bring.
So limited edition.
I will put them on the website as well. There's not very many of them. They are very limited.
There's only 5 of each design, if that.
Yeah. And but we'll make sure we get them onto the website as well. So thank you all for listening. Thank you, Julianne.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much.
This is just outstanding.
It's unique.
It certainly is. Thank you, George.